It was August. It was a hot day.
It wasn't July?
Yeah, you're right. Welcome to the center of the world, presented by Antoine Lavati. Hello everyone and welcome to the center of the world for that new episode. And tonight my guest is Lewis Bawół-Lloyd. Hello Lewis.
Hello.
Did I mispronounce your name or just destroyed it by mistake?
If you want me to say it how I say it anyway.
Yeah.
Lewis Bawół-Lloyd.
Okay,
Like
so
that.
I was okay. It was not like a
Yeah,
massive
it was-
destruction.
No, it was just like a nice accent to it. You made it sound sexy.
A nice French accent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lewis, you're 28 and you come from the United Kingdom, the country of the Queen.
Exactly. My savior. My everything.
I hope you have like your hand on your heart when I'm saying the name United Kingdom, obviously, right?
Yeah, it brings back like memories of the. I don't know. No, I'm not the biggest fan of UK. That's why I'm not there.
So you're from England
Yeah.
and now you live in Krakow.
I'm originally from this town in the south of UK. It's pretty much in the middle between London and the sea. This is like the easiest way for me to explain it to people, like straight down.
And what's the name of that city?
It's Crawley, but I mean, people might know like Gatwick Airport. This is the closest thing to it.
So it's really suburbs London somehow.
I mean, yeah, it's not even London. It's just a town that's built, well, an airport that's built next to a town, so the town got big, and now they're not doing so great because there's only an airport there.
Are we already talking about Corona in that very episode?
No, this just the only thing I ever see my town in the news for is like, yeah, Crawley is going to be one of the worst hit economies in the UK, and I was like, wow, this seems like a good place not to live at the moment. So.
Well, I mean, it's not wrong technically.
Yeah, I'm exactly.
So,
But yeah,
you're born there.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't born in that town, but close enough, and that's where I'm born from UK. Yeah,
Okay, and so you lived there.
until I was 26.
Okay.
Wait, no, 27. 27.
Okay, and then you moved to Poland. Okay, and what did you do in the UK? Like, were you studying? Were you working there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was mostly working. I left school at 16
Okay.
or 17. I didn't finish my anything higher than GCSE, so this is like, the basic 16-year-old kind of stuff. And then I was just working. I worked in, loads of amazing establishments such as McDonald's, bowling alley, a pub. I was at a pub for like 5 years in the airport as like various roles, and then I left that to become a waiter because that was actually paying me more than being a manager. So that was weird. Then the last job I had in UK, I was working in a warehouse that provided chemicals for airlines.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I mean, it was kind of slightly dangerous because these chemicals were like, strong and whatever. But yeah, and then before I left UK, in the last year, I done a 1 year course at a university of London, just basically the equivalent of whatever you do when you're 18. In UK, it's A levels, but
Okay, so it's like you really had that will to catch up on your education at some point.
I mean, well, there was kind of plans of leaving UK, so I was thinking that, well, it was made clear that, I needed to have at least this kind of level of education if I was going to get a job somewhere where I probably can only speak my language and not the native language of the country,
Okay. And are you thinking maybe to continue to study abroad, or you really, really want to focus on work experience for now?
Yeah, definitely at the moment I'm not planning to do any further education. I mean, this was the reason I done this, also the reason why I done this course, because this allows me to go to university for a degree if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have any real plans to do so anytime soon.
Okay. Is it like popular in the UK to start school again when you're getting older, or it's like a pretty unique case that you decide at like 26 to go back to school?
I mean, with people from my kind of school, there was obviously like a big-ish percentage that just left school at 16, yeah, when we were allowed to leave school and that was it. And sorry, my cat is doing something at the window. Um, yeah, it's kind of like normal for people to just stop education, get a job and work their way up or whatever and live fairly comfortably. I've known some friends who've done some education after they left. Like I had one friend, he left before 16, so he didn't even do this like basic exams. And then eventually he decided later on in life to do some studying, go abroad, and I guess sort his life out. So.
What do you think is the reason for that, let's say, high numbers of people quitting school at 16 in Curly?
I mean, now I think they can leave school only at 18. They have to do some kind of education until they're 18. So, but when you're 16, I guess to make that decision, maybe it's a bit too young, and then you can think that, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna leave and like work and make some money and like buy loads of stuff I don't need. But you're a kid still at 16, I would say.
Yeah. I feel that there are some other culture, other society, other maybe social circle that will push a bit more the kids to go to university. What do you think in your case was the primal factor that made you just, I want to leave school, I don't want to continue further when I'm just 16?
I mean, I guess there is also the financial aspect of it as such. Like going to university in UK is crazy expensive. I don't know how much, if it's 4,000, 6,000, 8,000 per year, depending where you're going or what you're doing. And plus to live there, so you need to pay for accommodation if you're going there. So, I had, when I was younger, my parents saved some money for me. They said that I could use this for university or whatever. But when it got closer to the time, I done this 1 year of additional education. They didn't let me back, so that was part of the reason.
Okay.
And and then I decided, I was like, yeah, I just want to use this money to buy a car, get a license, and I done that instead. So that was
Okay.
beneficial to me.
When you said like 5,000, 6,000, what are we talking about? Let's say in euro.
This would be per year, and it could be, well, pretty much the same, 5,000, 6,000,
Okay,
seven
I
thousand
see.
euros, something like this. I don't know the exact amount because I'm not
Okay.
checking this.
So basically, your reason to leave school early was to just live your life.
Yeah, exactly. I was working, I was having like nice bit of money every month. I didn't have bills, I didn't have credit card, anything like this. So, just spend this money every month. It's more money probably than I have spare now.
But like, did you live with your parent at that time, or you tried to
Oh,
gain independence right away?
no, I mean, I lived with my parents. The first time I moved out, I think I was about 18.
Okay.
I lived with my friend for 6 months because he bought an apartment and kind of renovated it. And when it was almost finished, we decided to move in, which was not a good idea.
Why?
There were still loads of things to be done, not like crazy things, but I don't know. And plus, we were not hugely compatible as flatmates. That was the main problem.
Okay.
And then I moved back to my parents a bit later for about 6 months into my brother's room because the day I moved out, he was walking into my room with his stuff moving in, like as I was taking my stuff out. So I had this tiny box room. There was like the sun was beating on the window from about 7 a.m. every day, and I was working nights. So that's when I rented a flat with my friend.
And it was better flatmating than in the previous experience?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this was with Bartek, who you
Oh,
know, obviously.
okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bartek. How could I forget about Bartek? I think we're going to talk a lot about him and about Sylvester when we will talk about like the way we meet. We really jumped in that episode right away, bluntly, no further introduction, bow, talking about your life. So maybe we could talk about like the way we met. that might be quite interesting.
Makes sense.
The story starts in the summer 2019. It was August. It was a hot day.
It wasn't July?
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty much how every stories of my life starts, like coming out of a depressive state where I need to make some changes in my life, and I'm going through a total adventure, which is like literally jumping out of a cliff with no parachute and just expecting that I will be able to fly. Often, some wings grow out of me and I don't die, and I get
Maybe there was some
stronger.
good wind on that day.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. The story is that we met on the biggest music festival in Europe. The name of that music festival is Pol'And'Rock. It used to be called Woodstock. It's every summer, well, except this summer. for
Obviously.
some reasons, and it's in Kościenaudra. It's a city close to the German border. It's in Poland. There is nothing much. It's a really, really small city. When do you think the first people come at the festival?
I think the first people there like 2 weeks before or something, man. I mean, like some.
So it's like a really small city that for 2 weeks becomes a large city of 500,000 people. that summarizes it very well, I think.
Like they even build a Lidl there.
Yeah,
Supermarket.
they build a little. Yeah, there are like streets, and there are like two main stages, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
And there are like electro stage, a small electro stage where there are rave all the time. There is like a shitload of place where you can eat, and it's mainly. How would you describe that vast spread of tents everywhere?
At some point it was crazy. Like if you go up to on the hill and you can see everything, it's like looking at some kind of, I don't know, like village. Like
Yeah.
loads of tarpauling and tents, and like kind of everything is kind of covered, and then there's little campsites where people are, made a big group, and then there's the whole
Yeah.
Hare Krishna campsite.
Yeah, it's almost like, I know it's a weird thing to say, but it's almost like post-apocalyptic setting.
Towards the end, yeah.
It could feel like a Mad Max setup, So yeah, it would definitely look a bit like that, with like those tents spread on kilometers and those camps and everything. Because here is the thing. It feels like in that festival, people are coming in gangs. You know what I mean?
In like families.
Yes, in like families.
In tribes. No, tribes is the word.
In tribes. Yeah, tribes is the right word.
Yeah, definitely you can see that when you look around. But I wasn't really, I mean, I didn't try to come in a tribe. I just came with some people who were driving.
That's a good reason.
I mean, they were nice people actually. And that was good actually because, when we got there, their friends were already there and they'd already had this campsite like chosen. So it was quite nice, some space for the tents. This is good. And it was close to the main stage.
Okay, so the festival is technically over 3 days.
Yeah, of music, yeah.
When did you arrive on the festival? Because we said earlier that some people arrived 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't that much. I think it was a few days earlier, maybe on the Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess.
So the first day of the festival was on the Thursday. So you arrived like what, 1-2 days before?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you find a spot. You found a spot. I think it was in the forest.
Yeah, it was in the forest, like just maybe 50 meters away from like the main kind of area, and then really close to the main stage. So, and beautiful toilets right near us.
Yeah. So in that festival with so many people, 500,000 people, the sanitary setup, it's really important. You don't want to be caught in something nasty, in something dirty. You want to have access to water. You want to have access to toilets. You want to have access to food. I think that it's really important to not end up having a bad location, because it could really, really tarnish the entire experience of that festival.
Yeah, that's definitely, if there's no toilets around. I think the worst place I ever saw toilets was another festival I went to in Poland, but there was a bit off away from the stage. There was just kind of this fence, and then you go behind it, and there was just loads of people like squatting and like peeing against the wall, just like in some gutter. And I was like, this is nice. This is where people come to be free.
Yeah. No, I think that for Woodstock, for Pol'And'Rock, they have a nice setting. Anyway, so you install yourself there. You're just chilling around. There is no music yet, and you're waiting for the arrival of two of your friends.
Of Bartek and Sylvester. I mean, this was the first time I met Sylvester, but
okay.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting for Bart, and then he said that he was coming with his friend Sylvester. And
okay.
Then, yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile, at the other side, so it was a really, really rough time of my life at that moment. At my work, things weren't very good. It was a really stressful time. And I really, really wanted to have a short break during the summer. I didn't really want it to take holidays because it was my first year at the job, so I didn't have like much holidays left. So I was in that weird moment of my life where I really needed few days to cut from reality.
Like a reset.
A reset, exactly. And I really knew about Pol'And'Rock. I've never been there yet. I found a night bus to go to Berlin from Brussels. It's a 12-hour bus. I don't know what to expect once I'm at the festival. I just buy a tent. I just buy a mattress. And that's pretty much what I planned. I knew that I have maybe some friends to meet there, but that's literally the only thing I know. Oh, and why I decided to go specifically to that festival, it's because I knew that there was a performance from a band that I love a lot, which is called Crystal Fighters.
Yeah, this was pretty much the only one I wanted to see.
Yeah, that was the first drag for me in the festival. It was my original reason to come to that festival.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think so. So, okay. I'm taking that bus and already on the way to the festival. So we were just 1 hour in the bus and already the bus lost itself. We were still in Belgium, about an hour away from Brussels, and the driver wasn't able to find the right exit to leave Antwerp. So for an hour, maybe it was like an hour and a half, we just turned around Antwerp for some reason. It was supposed to be 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., so it was supposed to be a 12-hour bus. We arrived in Berlin at noon on the next day. Yeah, so it was a long adventure, long night in the bus. Anyway, so I'm really tired from those 15 hours of bus. I was already concerned about my energy level. So it's the first day of the festival that I'm arriving. I'm arriving on the Thursday. So the bus station is on one side of the city. The train station to go to Costain is on the other side of the city. So I take the public transportation to go from one side to the other side. Super smooth. I realized that I remembered German way much better than I thought I did. It was a good surprise that I was able to express myself in a not so poor way. And I arrived at the station, and there is a shitload of people waiting for the train at the station. I can tell you that. Most probably another train passed by few minutes before. So I get to wait something like an hour or something like that for the next train. And I'm waiting, and the train get constantly delayed. It get delayed and delayed and delayed and more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like you can see people getting, like really nervous and not enjoying the experience to wait for a train on a really hot summer day.
Man, that's just classic.
That's classic, yeah, indeed. And I see that people are getting nervous. I dropped my backpack. For a while, I didn't want it to carry it. And I'm just, standing up, looking at information and everything. And some guys are getting nervous. A lot of Polish people around, just, waiting for the fucking train to arrive. And it's never arriving. And I notice a guy is so nervous that he kicks in my bag, it's kicking in my backpack and he's just shooting at my backpack and I look at him and I'm just like, man, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, sorry, I thought it was my backpack. And that person was Bartek.
Bartłomiej.
And that was my first interaction with him. So it was really interesting because, I was going there alone. I was tired. I was anxious. But as soon as he kicked in my backpack, I had a good feeling about that. I was like, okay, that's gonna create some nice interaction. And we started to talk. So Bartek was with Sylvester. They were talking in Polish, so I understood that they were from Poland. And I lived in Poland, so it was really easy for me to create an interaction with them. And we were talking. I have that ability to create positive situation out of shitty situation.
Yeah, that's true.
The train finally arrived. I think he arrived with 1 hour 30 late or delays or something like that. But as soon as the doors open, I was able to run into some area where I secured 3 seats. So we could sit, and Bartek and Sylvester were there as well. And we started to talk, and I kind of did the puppy eyes, like, guys, can I stay with you?
Can I be your friend?
Can I be your friend, please? And it just worked. And from there, that was just the beginning of something great. I mean, so everybody was getting drunk in the train.
Obviously.
I wouldn't have liked to be the person that cleaned after the people in the train. So I'm saying that as a joke, but I really found that extremely disrespectful from the passengers, to be honest. Bartek brought a lot of beers and stuff like that, and we picked up after ourselves, And this is something actually, let's rant about that, let's be hungry about that. Like, what the fuck, man? You're going through a free festival with like an amazing energy, and obviously you're gonna get intoxicated, obviously you're gonna get drunk as fuck, but can you just at least pick up behind you? Like, can you just behave yourself? And when you are like in the train, just pick up your stuff? This is something that I don't understand. Tell me your opinion about that, Lewis.
I mean, it's like a public train. It's not like, at the festival, obviously everyone's going to make loads of mess. Even if they're standing next to like a big bin, like a huge bin, they will probably still throw a can on the floor. But yeah, on the train and like not even close to there, that's not really cool.
Yeah.
Like, just put it all in a bag at least. Put all your stuff in a bag, tie it up, and
it doesn't take much time to just pick up your stuff. It's just like You still have your pack of beers, so you just put the empty beers in it? Oh my god. This is pissing me off so much, because I feel that when we have the opportunity to go to such an amazing experience, we should be like, just behave, because it's so cool. Like, not being like motherfucking deprived uneducation animals that just fuck it up right away. Anyway, okay, enough with that. That was my rant. I don't think I will put it in the outtakes. I think that it will stay in the main stuff, because I think it's important to talk about that.
Important message, man.
It's, it's an just basic environmental behavior.
Just respect.
Yes, basic respect. That's exactly that. Anyway, so we are out of the train. We're waiting for bus. We take the bus. The guy tries to lies about the price of the bus, but we tell him that he's fucking us up and that, he's not giving the good cash change and everything. And yeah, man, I had no pity for anyone, I was like, hey, don't fuck me up. Like, no, seriously, for this kind of topic, like, I could paying like 1 złoty if I give you 2 złoty and you give me just 10 groszy. I would be like, man, yeah, but man, like, you don't do that to me. Like,
no.
Maybe, I sound like a foreigner, I don't speak your language, but don't try to fuck me up, because I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna tell you, well, can you give me the right change, please? No, I'm not afraid about creating that awkward conversation, right? Because I have nothing to lose. Like, I'm after 17 hours of transportations, Like, at that point, I have nothing to lose. Like, just give me my change. I'm just gonna make it super awkward for you if you try to fuck me up. Anyway.
Just stare at him the whole way.
Yeah,
your hand out.
Exactly. And man, he gave me the right change in the end. So we take that bus and we arrived at the music festival. It's a huge motherfucking fucking festival, man.
Yeah, it's like to walk across it in the sun with all that stuff. That's always the worst bit. Going in and going out.
I mean, your camp was really well located.
Yeah.
But still, to go there from kind of the entrance of the festival, it was a good 25 minutes walk.
Yeah, I don't really remember that. When we arrived, it was nighttime, maybe like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd been drinking in the car as well, and then I don't really remember this walk so much. Like, I just remember it was quite long and everything I had was not really carryable in a comfortable way. And then we got there and there was loads of space for tents, and I was like, perfect. And it was really close to the stage. That was the best thing for me, I think. And by this path.
So there was a big wheel, if I remember, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's where we went to meet, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. There was a big wheel, and Bartek and Sylvester were telling me that another friend has secured a place and everything. And I didn't feel like trying to reach out my other friends, because I was feeling so relieved to find some really cool guys to stay with, to hang out with, that I was like, I'm just gonna wait and see what's happening next and
go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly, going with the flow. That's the perfect expression. And you just came. I don't know exactly what were our first words or interactions that we had, but I just immediately had the feeling that you were a good guy.
Well, thank you, I guess. I mean, I yeah. I just remember that I kept waiting and like, okay, so I'm going to this thing, and then I met, because I met Bart. Obviously, I knew Bart, but I met Sylvester first time and News first time, and then I don't know, I was probably high, like. Let's be honest.
I think that you were just repeating continuously, you're so cool, man, I like you, you're so cool, I like you. And that was a big concern for me. Like, that was really, because I was like, is he honest with me, or is just like sarcastic as fuck right now? And man, you were so open to me and to friendship and to talk and everything, that honestly, and it's don't take it bad or anything, but I was really doubtful about your sincerity.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes all my life more clear now. Maybe I was just lacking sincerity, like obvious sincerity. But I think no.
Well,
I remember the thing when I first met you was that I was like, man, you really look like my brother, and I was like,
yeah,
where you had these glasses on and this hat, and exactly the same glasses my brother has and this hat kind of thing, and I was like, that is so weird.
man. Yes, I remember that. And then you were showing me pictures of your brother, and I looked nothing like him. Like I was like, the fuck, bro? Where? What? And you were insisting and insisting, and I didn't want it to hurt your feelings, so I was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
but no, man.
I think I got over that pretty quickly. I was just like, yeah, maybe not, maybe.
Yeah. And we were laughing already a lot, and from there we just got high. I mean, purely and simply got super motherfucking high, and that was it. I think that's the way it is on that festival. You're just going there not necessarily for the music, but for an experience,
The atmosphere.
experiencing a state of mind, experiencing an atmosphere, as you said, experiencing human interaction, even a 500,000 people crowd. It's insane.
Like what, when you go into the actual crowd at the music and you're just like, there's a wave of people, like, but it wasn't that bad actually. Like you could get quite close to the front fairly easy.
Totally. It was the best because it was such a huge crowd. But okay, they are smart to explain the situation, because I think that, we're saying, okay, it was easy to go to front row, and people must be like, what the fuck, man? No, it's not easy to go. But to explain the setup, the stage was, I think, 2.50 meters high, or even 3 meters high. Like it was like super high.
Yeah. It was at least like the height of two people.
Yes, exactly. So 3 meters sounds pretty decent approximation. In a way that you can't be, let's say, stuck to the stage, because you wouldn't see shit.
Yeah. That was, if you would just be looking at the wall.
Exactly.
Just getting like rammed against the wall by people dancing behind you or whatever.
Yeah. So there was like that distance, there was that interval, that range of, I would say, 4 or 5 meters, really front to the stage, where there was literally no one.
Yeah, because there will be stupid. There were people like sitting there and stuff sometimes, but not like doing much else because you can't see.
But it's like super smart, because then you don't need security to check, and then there is that natural distance. So it's like, you can rest there, you can just chill there, and also it creates space, right away. So to anyone that would go at the front and see his favorite artist from a closer look, it's not impossible.
Yes.
It's like super doable.
And if you do it when the artist changes from one to the other, this is like the best time as well. Makes it super easy.
Okay, yeah. So the experience of going front row during that festival was at Crystal Fighters. We went maybe 30 minutes before the beginning of the concert, so not that long before.
Yeah.
And it was so easy. It was so fucking easy to do so. And we just stayed there, and we had space. We literally had space.
Yeah.
And man, that was a great concert. That was like an amazing experience. I mean, okay.
Man, like this was what we were waiting for the whole time. This was like the main event, and it was right at the end at some crazy time.
Man, do you remember that we learned the lyrics by heart?
What one was it? Man, I would probably remember.
It was something about love.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember. Love is all I gotta give.
No, we love in the mountain. No, love in the weekend. Spend your love and time with the weekend. Cause love is all I got. Oh, man.
Yeah. I wish I don't have it.
Love is all I got.
We just need to like fine tune it again. Maybe we can do a duet next time.
Man. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Crystal Fighters, and I kinda studied their playlist, and I really, really wanted this time to know some chorus. And we met, we have that good connection between you and I, good chemistry, we talk a lot, we have that nice vibe between us.
Yeah, exactly.
And you like Crystal Fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and I persuaded you to check out the lyrics and that we would learn the chorus of that song, because I knew from the set list that they would do that song, and I really, really wanted to nail it during the show. So that's why we did that, and yeah, we pretty much nailed it, and it was great.
Yeah, we were the coolest.
Things that I remember about that concert was the positive energy of the crowd.
Yeah, there was no like kind of violence or this craziness. But yeah, no, everyone was chilled in the crowd. Like you could go quite like far in and people will let you pass. There was no problem like this.
Okay, so there was still some physical energy, you know? There was mosh pits.
Mm-hmm.
People were dancing around, jumping around. You know, you could see some huge mass movements in the crowd.
Okay, yeah.
But nothing about kicking each other, nothing about, trying to express violence, nothing comparable to some really hardcore whatever concert. It was so chill. People were jumping around and having that full energy, but in such a nice vibe.
Yeah, and people had, like you mentioned earlier, like quite a nice bit of space around you, even when you're like by the front. Like it was half a meter, 30 centimeters around you, like nice.
Yeah, it reminded me a concert of a punk band called NoFX, where it's supposed to be punk and everything, but on the stage the artists are so positive, bringing you that beautiful energy that people are just having fun jumping around. And if someone fall, like right away, people will help him to get up or something like that. And I really felt that same vibe during the Crystal Fighters concert, which was definitely the highlight of the festival, beside meeting you. Do you remember that there was like another friend of mine that joined us at the festival? Maria.
Yeah, I remember. I mean,
Yeah.
she spent like most of her time with us as well, no?
Yeah, indeed. Oh, she spent the entire festival with us. She just arrived on the Friday night.
Yeah, I remember.
So she arrived on the Friday night and left with us on the Sunday. We traveled together till Berlin, actually with also Bartek and Sylvester. So it was really cool vibe. It was like the five of us. We did some crazy stuff. One of the memorable moment of that is Bartek that had that genius idea, that brilliant idea.
That was the best, yeah, you're right.
So he decided to shave his head.
No, he didn't even like decide to shave his head. He's just like, can you like shave my head for me? Yeah, I want to shave it. Yeah. What? Yes. Yes, let's do that.
Like literally out of nowhere. It just came like that. Like, okay, now I want to do that. And
just to make it clear, it was not at like nighttime and he was like fucked up or anything. It was like 2 in the afternoon or something like this.
He already had 7 shots of vodka.
Yeah, but that's not much for him, probably.
He had that shitty clipper or whatever the fuck it was that was like working on battery, and I think it died after just 2 minutes of using it.
Yeah.
And at that point, he looked like he was on chemo.
Yes.
Like, his hairstyle at that moment was literally it's going nowhere. It's like there is nothing to do about.
Yeah, because he was stressing out, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why I think that he wasn't sober, because he literally started to freak out. Man. he was getting anxious.
I was like, man, you can just wear a hat. Just wear your hat. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna wear my hat. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, man, it was not comfortable with the entire situation.
Yeah,
For sure. And it was one of my mission to actually go and find
A
a razor, and I did. And we shaved his head clean, and it was like looking like a perfect. Okay, I'm not. And it was clean.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
But
that was it.
That was the final states of Bartek. My job during that festival was to be the carrier of energy.
Yeah, that was true. Motivation, man.
Every day I was charging my power bank. And during the evening everyone was, can I charge my phone? Can I?
Yeah, this is true.
So okay, what was your experience of the festival? What do you remember the most? What are like the good things that you learned from it?
Man, I remember, just because you mentioned charging this battery pack, I remember that I took my phone to get charged at this one place, and then I went back a few hours later, slightly impaired probably, and I went there and I was like, where's it gone? Where's the shop gone? I was freaking out, man. I thought the shop had like closed down and like left, and I was like asking people, and they're like, yeah, no, there was nothing here. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, was that like the best scam ever? Just get loads of people to give you phones and then go at some point? And I was like proper going crazy. Imagine this was for like what 30 minutes or something. I was freaking out, sitting outside it. I went in. It was like a military shop, and I was like, no, it was definitely behind a military shop. And I'm speaking to the guy, and I'm looking. He's like, no, man, there's nothing here. No one's here. They must have left. And I'm like, what?
Man, was the shop like 10 meters later?
Of course it was, man. But yeah, it was just 10 meters down. Just going there all like panicky, sweaty, heart is beating. Just like, okay, I got my phone.
And they were giving us those little stickers.
Yeah.
Man. And on the third day of the festival, so I was usually sticking the fucking sticker on my phone.
Yeah.
But on the day of the festival, for some reason, it was not on my phone. And I had my power bank and everything. And I just arrived there. Man, we were together.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Oh, man,
it was
yeah.
not one of the proudest moments of my life.
We were just like, what does it look like? Yeah, what color is it?
Yeah.
Black? It's a black.
It's a black power bank. It was like probably 30 or 40 or 50 power bank, and I'm like, yeah, it's a black power bank.
It had like a black plug and a white cable or something like this.
Yeah, exactly. It has a white plug and a black cable.
Did they speak English well? I didn't think. Okay.
Yeah, they speak English, but they were like, okay, like literally not helping. And then I found on the internet a picture of my power bank, of the model of my power bank, and that picture looked literally, I mean, like, the most generic power bank picture ever. Like, if you would just Google power bank and find picture of power bank, they would show that one. And he was just looking at me as like, are you serious, man? Are you fucking kidding me? So we had to wait that like a lot of people just
Until the queue.
grabbed their stuff, that there was less stuff, and then at some point he just found it, and it was just a really, really funny story of me showing the most generic picture of the power bank, telling to the guy, that's my power bank, that's the one, that's mine. It was like, man, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I think everyone was just like, "Wow, he's quite optimistic if that's gonna help." But
I think that he thought that we were shitting him. So it was my plan to go there this summer again.
of course, me too, man. That sucks.
But well, yeah, okay, we can't go obviously because of the
Mm,
coronavirus, but we are definitely gonna go there in 2021.
of course, man.
Yeah?
I was gonna say if there's like a year break, imagine how many people will go after a year break.
Yeah, man.
Probably more.
Probably more, and
They're gonna be more crazy.
this time I want to have a gang. Like this time I want to have a family. I want to be with like 10 people.
Okay.
I mean, so obviously you will be there. There will be Madhu. He was in the podcast in the episode about India.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna bring a gang also. I will try to bring like all my people, the people that I really trust and stuff. And we're gonna create the best vibe inside the festival ever. And that's gonna be nice. The next time I go to that festival, I want to have a barbecue.
Oh man.
And I want to be the cook, for the festival. You know that I love cooking, and imagine like that I would cook for everyone for like 3 days. That would be like my job. I would just like arrive with like a big carton box of vegetables and stuff like that, and we would just cook for 3 days. Amazing food. That would be just amazing.
Yeah, that would be good, man.
So that's the plan. If ever you're interested in joining us in that adventure, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, more than welcome, man.
I think that festival was just an amazing experience.
Yeah, this was like it was so cool as well. It was nice, like not just because it was free, but just because it's free, there's that like very much freedom of it. Like you can just walk in, walk out, go anywhere pretty much, and I don't know. It's like being in a little city.
Yeah. So you said earlier that it wasn't your first festival in Poland, and we mentioned that you moved to Poland actually. How a guy that comes from the away suburbs of London end up in Poland? What's your story with Poland basically?
Man, I guess like there was one guy who I worked with in McDonald's, and when I was 16, and I was asking, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Poland, and I'm like, man, I don't even know if I know exactly where Poland is, like, and that's probably not super uncommon for people in.
Oh yeah, man, it's a fact. In France, that was my knowledge about Poland, is that Poland, it's just about the Polish plumbers that goes to France to steal the job of the French plumbers.
What the fuck? Man, I hate this narrative. Like, I really hate this.
That was my only knowledge about Poland. Literally. Okay, so you were saying that you didn't know where exactly was Poland.
Yeah, so I guess I just looked into it and stuff a little bit. Then I had another job, and there was this Polish guy who worked there. Yeah, his name was Jacob, and that's how I met Bart through him actually. Like,
Okay.
and yeah, and then I met Bart, and then there was other friends of Bart's in our town, and other people I was working with in like other jobs, like bowling alley and restaurants and stuff. With my relationship.
So, like in K,
Yeah.
there is like a huge Polish community.
I guess so. I mean, I don't really want to speak of it as if I know the Polish community. Yeah? There are a lot of Polish people, especially like in my town where there's most of the jobs are from the airport and this similar kind of stuff. There was in the airport loads of people from Poland, from Portugal. There were people from Latvia, Lithuania.
And so you met Bartek and other people, and then you say that you met a Polish girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah, why did you decide to leave England?
I guess after like all this like Brexit stuff, this was not really somewhere that we felt we wanted to live in, at least.
When was it?
2016, I think, or 17. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not good at dates, but yeah, like after that, it was, to think of that about your like country is like, yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with you and if I want to stay here, kind of thing. I mean, you know what happened once?
Yeah, tell me.
We we were in Poland. We took a plane back to the airport near where I lived, and then got a taxi. and the guy is just saying to us straight away, like in the taxi after like 2 minutes, like, "Oh yeah, finally we're gonna leave that EU. Yeah, we're gonna be like Britain again." And I'm just like, man, shut up.
I mean, it's like going backward in terms of
Yeah.
evolution and in terms of sharing different culture,
Intelligence.
sharing intelligence. Yeah, exactly. So you decide to leave the country in 2016.
No, it was like we left in 2018. So yeah.
So it took you, let's say, 2 years to really make the decision to leave the country.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we always had like thoughts about this, about doing it. So yeah, just she found this place in Croatia where we could go and stay there and work there. They give us a bit of money and we get some free time to go around and see like around the area. It was in like Istria, like, close to Italy.
So what were you doing there?
Well, it was like a small hotel basically. So
Okay.
we were doing standard things like cleaning the rooms and changing the beds. There was only like 4 or 5 rooms. Cleaning the whole place, basically, sweeping, dusting, whatever. Helping out with like making and serving food and breakfast, and some other additional things like in the garden, like gardening, bringing in vegetables, looking after chickens, and then some other stuff as well. Like, I don't know, we helped them like harvest a whole field of corn.
Okay.
And then with this corn, we had to get it off the cobs. Man, this was the worst job in the world.
Like to really prepare the corn.
Yeah, but to make it into polenta, yeah, so it was dried and
Wow.
then crushed.
Oh shit.
Man, this was like an insane amount of work, and probably I don't know if it was really worth it.
Why?
I mean, it was just way too much work. We spent so much time doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
and we were getting most of the corn off the cob by hand for ages, like a whole like trailer load.
Shit.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was fun in general. Like, it was a nice experience. We had some free time during the middle of it where we just went away for like 2 weeks camping around like Italy and Slovenia and Croatia. And then, yeah, after that came to Poland.
Do you have some places that were really, really mind blowing that maybe you can recommend?
It's difficult for me to think of like places because we weren't staying anywhere particularly. We were just driving around, going through some like town.
So it was on the Adriatic coast.
Yeah, exactly. It was from about September, October, and half of November.
Okay, so the weather was still good in September.
Yeah,
Okay.
man, on my birthday in the middle of November, it was like 17 degrees or something. It was like sunny, and I was like, wow, I'm wearing shorts on my birthday in November.
Sounds like a very nice birthday in Croatia. Fucking with corn. Okay, and from there, so you guys decided to go to Poland.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Poland is a vast country.
Yeah.
Like the main city are Warszawa, Warsaw, Kraków, Krakow, Wrocław. And where did you go exactly?
To Kraków. I mean, not to Kraków like necessarily, to her parents' house like outside of Kraków in a village.
Okay, so you went to her parents' place.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Kraków.
Mm-hmm.
So why the choice of Kraków?
That this is where like she was close from.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of familiar, I guess. Like we've been here a few times.
Okay.
Like many times to the city and around.
It was like for the convenience.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, and after a few months there, you found a job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had the first job I was delivering like hot meals in an industrial estate to like workers in like factories and stuff like this. That was crazy job because I couldn't really speak very good Polish. And then I got this job just in like an office in a call center, yeah.
So you arrived there with no knowledge of Polish at all.
No, I had some basic like knowledge.
Okay, and
I could like have a small conversation, maybe very basic, but to some of the words, like I was always confused when I was calling these people to tell them like, "Hey, I'm downstairs. I've got your food." I'm like, "How do you say that in Polish, man?" Every time I said it, I don't even think I bothered to translate it once or ask people. I was just trying to say stuff, and I was like, it sounds so like incorrect, basically.
So you just learn by talking, Basically, it was like the street language.
Some of it. I did have some lessons, like
Mm-hmm.
sporadically through the years. I didn't really, I would go to a few and then I would stop and I would maybe go to some more, but I was never like studying hard.
So you moved to Krakow and then you find a job in a call center, even if you didn't really know how to speak Polish yet.
I mean, yeah, but the job was in English, I was just looking for jobs mostly that were for English speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just found this one. Actually, I think it was called something like customer service agent. I had no idea what it was going to really be. I just went to this interview. I was just, yeah, asked them what it was. I still didn't really know what it was, but then they offered me the job, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's like, seems all right. And yeah, it was turned out to be quite cool job. I like this. It's, I get to pretty much start at kind of whenever I want to. No one's like watching me constantly. I can work from home.
So it's basically like a call center.
Yeah,
And you're doing what exactly?
like now I'm like checking the quality of people's work, listening to their calls, reading their emails,
Okay.
and giving them feedback and stuff.
So it's like quality check in a call
Yeah,
center.
yeah, exactly.
So do you think that moving to Poland is an improvement in your life?
I mean, it's difficult to say if it's an improvement, but like, this job is quite nice, and I don't feel like I miss anything other than some people. I don't miss anything from UK. There's nothing like, not even like products in a shop that I miss buying, for example.
Okay. What are the biggest changes from your life in UK and your life in Poland?
Mostly, I guess, in UK I was driving everywhere, and I mean, I would walk some places, but mostly drive or take a taxi. Or take a train. Here, like, I'm taking the public transport all the time, trams. Like, there's no trams in my towns, and I'm walking a bit to work. And just, I like the fact that, I buy the tram ticket for all the lines, and it's not that expensive, and I can just go wherever I want at any time, and like, I'm not gonna get a fine.
If there is one thing sure about Poland is that you don't want to mess with the law.
Yeah. When the first time I was here with Bartek, he was like, yeah, no, we can't cross the street. He's like, yeah, look, some people are getting
Yeah.
a ticket for crossing the street. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Man, it's a urban legend. Okay, that's my favorite activity to do in Poland is to cross the street when I'm not supposed to do. I'm always crossing the street at the green light. It's like I'm feeling such a thug because for Polish people it's so impressive someone that does that. It's like, wow, man, you crazy motherfucker.
This is quite funny here. Like, generally, I think people are kind of have this weird respect for like law
Mm-hmm.
or like authority.
Yeah.
Especially like even in this context now, the amount of people wearing like face masks is like, I'm like, wow, you're like really serious about it. Some of them have got crazy masks and stuff, but like 95% of people will be covering their face.
And that's good. To be honest, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like surprised that it's like it works so well.
Mm-hmm. There is a huge respect of the law and the rules. So did you make friends with the locals? Do you have like local friends now in Krakow?
I mean, I have friends who mostly are from who I work with, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have many friends outside of work, not that I can think of. Maybe like friends through friends, but I have like the people I know, and I'm not alone here, so that's nice.
Yeah. So you were able to create a life for yourself outside of the UK.
I often get asked like, "Oh, when you're coming back?" And I'm like, "I don't know if and when I'm coming back."
So you really don't project yourself coming back to the UK.
It's not like I rule it out as a possibility. I don't see it as something I need to do like now or anytime soon.
Well, I mean, it's amazing if you're able to create like a nice life for yourself right now. In that very age of possibilities, people still get scared of making those huge changes in their life because it's like now it's easier to do it, but there is always the idea that you can fail in doing it.
Yeah, that's always like scary. This kind of doing it kind of thing, going for it.
And the very idea of failing really paralyzes a lot of people
Hmm.
from realizing the huge project that they are meant to be. And the fact that you did it, okay, obviously you are not alone in that project, but you went full for it and you succeeded it. And that you live there now, that you have a job there, that you're settled there, and that you create a circle from yourself is really nice. And you also now study Polish.
Oh yeah, I mean at my work because they offer like free language classes. I saw they had Polish. I was like, yeah, why not? I don't need it for my work as such, but obviously lots of people I work with are Polish, so I can use it. Sometimes I'm using it a little bit.
I already heard you speaking Polish, and I think that you are able to really hold conversation, as you said. But I think that it's like you're getting more and more comfortable with that, and the very idea of you being able to speak the local language is a sign also that you want to be assimilated and be part of the society here. So,
I mean, yeah, like I could definitely probably work harder on it, that's for sure.
mhm.
But yeah, I enjoy speaking it, but man, some of it is just like it's just difficult. Or like even like I can read it, but to say it from my mouth is like
DJ.
yeah, beatbox.
And how do you see your future, let's say, like post quarantine? Like, do you see yourself continuing in that very job for a while?
Until the end of this year at least. Like I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this year
Mm-hmm.
because it's a temporary like contract anyway.
Okay.
And then yeah, I just see what they're saying at this job and then maybe look somewhere else. I don't know.
Okay. What's like your big plan in the future? What is like your dream? You know, something that you truly want to achieve that you didn't achieve yet.
I don't know really. I'm just kind of going with what feels good or right at the time, kind of.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't. I just don't really have like a whole massive dream or goal.
Okay.
Just to be like I don't know at peace with what I'm doing.
Well, I think that's quite a nice goal to be in peace with with what you're doing. A lot of people are just doing stuff their entire life, and you know, never questioning the way they are doing things, the why they are doing things, and in the end, just wasting their life. Not enjoying anything because they don't ask themselves the right questions. So yeah, I think that trying to achieve peace, it's a really important and good thing. So what does your life in quarantine looks like right now?
Live in quarantine. I mean, it's okay when it's sunny. Then I can have the balcony door open, chill on the balcony with the laptop. I mean, the laptop is always like within 1 meter of me now. It's like chained to me. I mean, it's nice to. I'm trying to keep the apartment as clean as possible. I don't want to start living in like a mess. No, I'm going to see my friends sometimes, like once every 2 weeks. Take a bus there, stay there for like a few hours, and then come back. But other than going to the shops, I'm not really going anywhere because I'm really not enjoying this covering my face. It's really uncomfortable. So I just try to avoid going out.
You mentioned the fact that you were cleaning the apartment, and I think that it's something right now which is important, and especially when you are living in the social isolation.
Mhm.
You need to keep it up. You know, you keep your head on your shoulders. We still don't know how long we're gonna be in that situation, and I think that what you're doing is really healthy in a sense that if you're keeping your house clean, you know, if you're continuing to take a shower, to cook properly, like you have a cat, so take care of your cat. It's things that helps you to, you know, to keep up, to not fall down in
Exactly.
depressions and stuff like this. So I think it's really important in that very weird corona context that we have now, also with social interaction. I mean, we are calling each other, I think, 2 or 3 times a week. I have like other friends that I call. Like, do you talk to other people as well?
Yeah, I mean, mostly like, my friends from work, I'm messaging them or sometimes calling them during work, not necessarily to talk about work, like,
Mm-hmm.
because, if we have some time and after work as well. And sometimes I'm calling my friends from UK, chatting to them. So that's nice.
Yeah, man.
There's always like someone to call.
Well, that's really, really great that you can, not suffer from any of the side effects of an already really complex situation, I would say.
No, probably just pale skin.
Well, you have a balcony, so you can't really complain.
Yeah.
So you say that you spend quite a few time on your laptop. So are you watching some stuff?
Of course, man. Like this is Netflix is my best friend in lockdown.
Really?
Of course. I mean, this is what I'm doing most evenings.
What are you watching right now, and what do you recommend to watch? So
Okay, so I'm watching like few things at the moment.
yeah.
I'm watching this Better Call Saul because
Oh
you recommended this to me already. Actually, I'm
yeah.
just watching through it slowly. Like sometimes I'm watching things slowly and enjoying it, and sometimes just like watching through the whole thing like really quick, depending.
So what do you think about Better Call Saul?
Man, I really like this. I really loved Breaking Bad anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
then this is like obviously it's a different thing, slightly connected, but it's still like amazing, I think. I like the even like the intro,
Yeah, the intro
like
is
yeah,
really cool.
I like the camera like layouts and colors and stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Better Call Saul is even more about atmosphere than it is in Breaking Bad. Like in Breaking Bad, already you can recognize great cinematography, great camera angles, great colors. But in Better Call Sauls, is like you take that and you just upgrade it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Slower rhythm story, like slower speed in the progress of the story.
yeah, there's like less action as well, isn't there? Like
And then you were saying about
yeah, started watching BoJack Horseman, man. I don't really watch like many animated things in general. Like I stopped this a few years ago, but this one is like it's like smart funny, you know? It's not just like really in your face kind of stupid shit.
in my opinion, BoJack Horseman has something really right going for it. Like, not only the characters are really well written, I would say, with a lot of consistency.
Yeah.
The dialogue are just, you can laugh and you can cry, and like you can have like all the ranges of emotion, but it's an animated series that is not afraid to explore the darkness. And this is really admirable because I think that by exploring the darkness, it allows to depict, I think, a really realistic picture of mental illness. It talks a lot about depression.
Okay, yeah.
It talks about drugs. It talks about addiction. It assesses all those issues, never in a, oh, I have something bad happening, so I need to do something and I will do that things that will make me become redeemable, that I will have my redemption. It's just assessing the darkness of each human beings in a really true way, in a really, I would say,
Okay, like relatable.
yeah, relatable. Yeah, it in a really relatable way. And that character of BoJack, you've never seen anywhere else a character like that before.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite unique actually. It's very unique.
I would recommend you a movie that is on Netflix right now. It's called Dolomite is My Name. It's with Eddie
Okay.
Murphy.
This is available in Poland.
Yes, it's a Netflix movie. I liked Eddie Murphy for quite a while. I loved a lot watching stuff like Beverly Hills Cops, 48 Hours, and recently, now it's almost 20 years ago, there was the Shrek stuff. It was the
Okay.
donkey in Shrek.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
really funny.
Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, Doctor Dolittle was a good one, but his last really funny and famous stuff like were really dated from long time ago. I mean, the last thing I remember watching him, it is Tower Haste. Do you know that movie? Tower Heist.
Tower Heist. I don't know. I'll check.
It's with Ben Stiller, and it's about stealing a car in a tower. Basically, that's the premise of the movie.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
And it wasn't funny. It wasn't that good. And man, I saw that Dolomite thing. I think it's on Netflix since January or even before. And I was always looking at it, and I was like, no man, I'm not gonna go into it. That movie seems like it can have some issues and stuff like that. And I heard the critics, I heard a review of that movie, a recommendation of that movie in that podcast that I already talked about, Cinecast, made by the guys that make that Cinema Sins video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust those guys. And the only information that I had about that movie was the trailer. And the trailer really didn't seduce me, really didn't attract me. So I went in the movie almost virgin. Because, I had no other information from the movie beside
completely blind.
Exactly. And man, I don't regret that at all. It was amazing. It's a really positive movie. So it's about that guy, Eddie Murphy's character. Oh, it's based on a real life story, actually.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at the end when they say that it was based on a real life story. So there is that guy. There is that Rudy Ray Moore. He's in his 40s, and he's not a young kid anymore, and he would like to be in the entertaining business, but it's not going anywhere. He opens for some music stuff in some kind of bar, and he's not really succeeding in doing what he does, but he observes the humor, he observes the raw dialogue from hobo, and he decides to hang out with the guy, and from that he comes back doing some one-man show with a really, really raw humor and some nice rhythm. And right away people are going for it and they love it. And from there, that moment is just from there he's just getting more famous and famous. He get more and more recognition until he decide that his new thing is I want to do a movie.
Okay.
And that movie, he put everything in it, all his money, all his energy in it. And it's really almost homemade movie, even though there is a director, even though he is able to be surrounded by really talented people. It's really amateurish movie. But in the end, he succeeded to do that movie. And then there is another part that is how he's gonna try to make that movie become something. I don't want to spoil that, even though if it's based on a real story. I really, really want you to enjoy the excitement of that. Let's say that it's a really, really feel-good movie. It's about that universe in the 70s. It's, if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is funny in a more darker way, Dolomite Is My Name is funny in a really positive way. So I definitely recommend that to you.
Okay, man. I'll add it to my list. I'll add everything to my list.
It's not too long. It's 2 hours, so it's really easily watchable.
Perfect.
Do you have anything else to recommend?
I mean, I watched this one film saying psychological thriller. Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the Platform. This is something definitely to watch. This, man. What it's about it kind of goes to a prison, yeah, and there's loads of different levels, and there's 2 people on each level and a hole in the middle, and basically this platform just slowly goes down to each level, and it starts off with a full platter of all this amazing food, and at the bottom it's just bones and stuff and whatever, and the guy's trying to cause an uprising kind of thing to stop people from eating so much. So they portion it out so everyone gets some and no one dies. Once the platform gets to the bottom, it goes straight to the top, and then it resets. They go to sleep or something, and the next day they wake up on a different platform level. It could be at the top or it could be at the bottom.
Man, I watched that movie because of your recommendation. I would definitely call it a Wreck-A-Warn movie. because as much as you can recommend that movie, you need to warn about that movie. It's not a movie for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got it right. So every day there is that platform which contains a shitload of food, and it just go down from like the top floors is like the first floor, and then it goes to, I don't know, there is like 200 floors or something like that. And obviously people on each floor are eating more and more and more and more and more until there is literally nothing. That's the premise of the movie. I don't want to spoil much about it more, but it's gross.
Yeah, that's why I started off by saying it's a psychological thriller. Maybe there should be this film is violent and dark, so maybe I should have led with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really gross. It's really philosophical when you think about it.
That's why I like it.
Like after you watch it, it makes you think a lot. Yeah, it's a good movie. I recommend it, but with extreme caution. In like, you're gonna see some growth scenes, like murders, like people eating flesh out of from other people.
Yeah, okay. Now you say it like this.
But I mean, it's important for people to understand that.
Yeah, of course.
So you recommend Better Call Saul? I recommend that as well, 100%. BoJack Horseman, amazing choice. I recommend Dolomite Is My Name, and you recommend. So the original title is like, oh my god, I'm gonna destroy it, but El Hoyo. It's Hoyo, so I don't know if like it's a literal translation in English, the platform, but yeah, that's really interesting, and it's all available on Netflix. So a lot of things to enjoy during that the free times that we have in quarantine. Lewis,
Anton,
I think that's gonna be it for that episode. Thank you again for coming, for joining. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
A pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to interact with you. I guess that we're gonna see each other soon.
Yeah, man. Hopefully.
Okay, so once again, that very episode is available on SoundCloud, YouTube. So don't hesitate to comment on that episode, to like, to dislike, to ask questions. So for that, you can leave your comment on SoundCloud, YouTube. There is a Facebook page and there is an Instagram page. So don't hesitate to talk about it, to reach out. I'm always open to that. Lewis, thank you again. It was just amazing. And well, yes, see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening. Comment and check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time. How do we say that in English, the proper word about like sanitary things?
Or just not caring.
Yeah. Yes, sanitary. No, what's the name for that? Sanitary. It sounds like an adjective.
Sanitization? No, I don't know.
The sanitary
level
setup. I don't know. So okay. Oh, I just burped. Wait, I'm going for another one. Okay, it's done.
Yeah, that was very, very audible, man.
Yeah, we got over it, and it's good. Man, okay, wait. I got something in my mouth. That's what she said. Okay. Oh man, I just did it again. Wait.
Nice one, man. How sweet, man.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and he was looking like Pasdan. Famous Polish football player, bold football Polish player. Rice with vegetables, potatoes,
Potatoes.
stuff like
Ziemniaki.
yeah, man, ziemniak, kurwa.
No, man, we took the day off, man.
I know. yeah, maybe. Wrocław.
Breslau.
I don't even
Breslau.
know how to say
Breslau?
Wrocław.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like a weird behind the scenes chat whilst you're on the toilet.
Really, wait. We got to wait for my cat to. Do you hear that?
No, I don't know where my cat is.
Athos,
either.
you're a motherfucker. He's literally taking a shit, and he's looking at me when he takes a shit.
He's like, "You're gonna clean this."
Athos, clean behind you. Cause that's his thing, you know. He's taking a shit and then he just leave. I mean, I'm gonna make sure.
Do you want to
I'm
take
gonna
it
make
with
sure
you?
that it's like he has to clean after himself. Because if he doesn't, it's gonna fucking piss me off, man.
In what way? Just you mean by covering it up or taking it away?
Yeah, he's not cleaning it.
Aha.
At all.
He's just doing it and just walking away straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, motherfucker. He's just fucking with you, man.
Oh, he's taking a messy one. I understand why he's keeping his head all of the stuff. Oh, it smells like pure garbage. Oh god. Increase a rise of celebrity, an uprising. I don't know how to say that.